Hey folks, welcome back to Storyscape. Before we dive into today's spine-chilling tale, I need you to please leave a like and subscribe. Your support is my motivation. It's what keeps me digging up these terrifying stories to share with you. Let's get started with today's story. I never believed that a few cryptic forum posts could upend everything I thought I knew about the world. Until the night I discovered the link. It was on one of those late-night deep dives into the obscure corners of the internet. I had been scouring conspiracy boards and encrypted message threads when I stumbled upon an anonymous post that mentioned a hidden pyramid, rumored to be the epicenter of Illuminati rituals and occult power. The post was curt, almost dismissive of its own gravity. Find it, and you'll see what lies beneath. Star. At first, I dismissed it as another digital ghost story, but something about the language, the way it insinuated an otherworldly force at work, kept my mind churning with restless questions. The post included a blurry image of what looked like a monolithic structure half buried in shifting sands, along with a set of coordinates that pointed to a remote desert expanse. Despite a gnawing sense of foreboding, I couldn't resist. I copied the details and bookmarked the page, my heart thumping with a mix of excitement and dread. The following week, with little left tying me to the mundane rhythms of everyday life, I booked a flight to the nearest town bordering the vast desert. Arriving under a bruised twilight sky, I rented a rugged vehicle and set off toward the coordinates. The landscape transformed rapidly from suburban sprawl to an endless sea of ochre dunes and barren rock formations. The wind whispered through the canyons of sand, carrying with it the faint echoes of voices I could never quite decipher. As dusk bled into night, I reached the designated location. There, illuminated only by the weak glow of my headlamp, stood the pyramid, a structure so out of place and unnaturally perfect that it immediately defied all rational explanation. The pyramid's surface was a mosaic of intricate, almost geometrical carvings and symbols that pulsed faintly in the dim light. Among these, unmistakable sigils associated with the Illuminati glinted like ancient, cursed jewelry. The air around the structure felt unnaturally cold, a stark contrast to the desert's daytime inferno, as if the pyramid exhaled a chill from another realm. I parked a short distance away, hesitant yet compelled forward. Every step toward the pyramid felt like a descent into a realm where reality was fraying at the edges. My pulse pounded in my ears as I approached the massive stone edifice. The closer I got, the more I noticed that the carvings seemed to shift when viewed from different angles, hinting at a depth and movement that defied the static nature of stone. At the pyramid's base, I discovered a narrow arched entrance partially concealed by sand and creeping vines. A tattered sign in an archaic script, one that resembled both Latin and something far older, warned, "Heed the call, or forever remain." My instincts screamed to turn back, yet curiosity and a desperate need for truth propelled me onward. With trembling hands, I pressed forward into the darkened passage. Inside the corridor was a suffocating blend of cold stone and inexplicable humming vibrations that seemed to emanate from the very walls. My flashlight flickered as if struggling against an unseen force, casting erratic shadows that danced and contorted like tortured souls. Each step I took deeper into the pyramid heightened the sense that I was not alone. Faint whispers echoed down the hall, whispers that might have been the murmurs of the past, or perhaps the voices of something else entirely. In one cavernous chamber, I found a mosaic on the floor depicting a grand ritual. Figures robed in dark, hooded attire circled a blazing flame that seemed to be fueled by no earthly substance. At the center of the mosaic was a symbol that I recognized from the forum post. A radiant, interlocking triangle, its vertices reaching outward like tendrils of forbidden knowledge. The chamber's walls were etched with more Illuminati symbols, and as I traced my fingers over the ancient carvings, a shiver ran through my body. There was a decision to be made here: retreat and preserve what little sanity I had left, or push forward and risk uncovering truths that might shatter my understanding of the world. I chose to press on. The deeper I ventured, the more the pyramid revealed its disconcerting secrets. I came upon a circular room dominated by a giant, intricate mechanism that looked part clockwork, part alien device. Its gears and cogs moved in a disjointed rhythm, their clicks and whirs forming a cacophony that both mesmerized and terrified me. In the center of the room, suspended by nothing visible, hovered a pulsating orb of light. The orb cast eerie, shifting reflections on the walls, as if it contained a living, watching presence. I couldn't help but feel that this was the pyramid's heart, a source of unimaginable power and the key to the Illuminati's darkest secrets. As I reached out toward the orb, the air thickened and the whispers grew into audible voices. They spoke in a language I couldn't understand, yet the tone was clear: a command, a warning, an incantation meant to keep trespassers away. For a moment, time seemed to freeze. I stood at the crossroads of revelation and doom, my hand hovering just inches from the orb. In that suspended heartbeat, I wrestled with my own fears. Was this discovery worth the cost? What ancient force did I awaken by daring to unearth it? Before I could decide, the orb pulsed violently, its light flooding the room with blinding brilliance. My senses overloaded. I staggered back, and as my vision cleared, I saw shapes moving in the periphery, shapes that shouldn't exist in any logical realm. The pyramid seemed to breathe, its walls contracting and expanding in a slow, deliberate rhythm. The very architecture of the chamber warbled, as if reality itself were beginning to unravel. I stumbled toward an exit, desperate to escape the clutches of this otherworldly place, but the labyrinthine corridors twisted and shifted, disorienting me. The exit I had come through had vanished, replaced by new passageways that beckoned with equal parts menace and allure. Every corner I turned revealed more unsettling imagery: frescoes depicting ancient ceremonies, cryptic inscriptions that hinted at sacrifices and pacts with entities from beyond, and more symbols, repeated over and over, as if to ensure that their forbidden meaning could never be forgotten. In a final act of sheer instinct, I retraced my steps in the hope of finding a way back to the surface. The pyramid's corridors grew darker and more oppressive with every step. I felt eyes on me, watchful, judgmental, and utterly alien. A low, resonant hum filled the air, synchronizing with my rapid heartbeat and drowning out all rational thought. Then, just as abruptly as it had all begun, the humming stopped. I found myself in a vast antechamber with no discernible exit. In the center of the room, etched into the stone floor, was a single word: remain. The word pulsed as though it were alive, a final command from whatever ancient power governed this place. I sat there frozen in terror and wonder, the weight of the pyramid's secrets bearing down on me. The silence that followed was heavy with implication, a promise that some truths were meant to be hidden, that some secrets were too potent for human understanding. In that oppressive moment, as the shadows lengthened and the air grew colder, I realized that I might never escape this nightmare. I don't know if the pyramid was built by human hands or if it had always existed as a gateway to something far more sinister. All I know is that as I sat there, trapped between reality and a darkness that defied explanation, I could only wonder if I had become a part of a conspiracy far older and more terrifying than anything I had ever imagined. The Pyramid of Shadows remains somewhere out there, a relic of a forbidden pact, and I fear that some doors once opened can never be closed.